Today, what we're going to do primarily is look at what do you want. And I know we've asked you to do that with regard to the workshop. Many of the exercises in Falling Awake, we're asking you to do that with regard to your whole life. Some of you have been in coaching relationships with me or with Joanne or Bill or with other people, with Peter. For a long time, you've been asking that. So you've already got a lot of answers to the question. What I'd like you to do today is to see if you can come up with some new answers or some detail to the answers. Because the detail is really what I believe will assist you to create that future that you want. It's a bit like walking into a restaurant and ordering dinner and then complaining because you didn't get the dinner you wanted. Well, come on. You just went in and ordered dinner, and most of you don't. Most of you, when you go into a restaurant, you order very detailed descriptions of what you want from a big, long menu of what's provided. And if you live around here, if you live in California, particularly Marin and Sonoma County, you don't even order off the menu. You go in and ask for substitutions. I am amazed when I go to dinner with people. And I know that's not just around here, but it's stunning how much detail people put into ordering their dinner and how little detail they put into ordering their life. So that's my job today, is to help you order your life with as much detail as you order your dinner. And I believe that when you do that, you'll be more likely to get it. Now, I'm no fool. I realize that when you go into a restaurant and order a dinner with great detail, it still doesn't always turn out quite right. But it turns out close. And similarly, I believe that when you order life with great detail, it won't turn out like you asked, but it'll turn out close. And that's why I'm recommending you put a lot of detail into your delivery, into your description of life, so that the delivery will match more closely than it does now. And that's where we're headed. And in order to facilitate this, I'm going to start with a song. This song is not by Scott Johnson. Song's by another friend who's a songwriter. She has 6 albums. I'd love to have you go out and buy her music, not because she's a friend, but because the music is geared to bring to you and to your consciousness a positive experience.
Remember the playground dreams that kept us in rapture, the boy who would dance his life, the girl who could fly, the longing to touch and be touched, the burning for life, the passion to have it all deep down inside. Is that what you really want? Or did nobody ask you? Is that who you really are? Just to run with the crowd? Is that what you really love? Or did nobody ask you? Well, if nobody's asked you, I am asking you now. Is that what you really want? I am asking you now. Once we can see the dream, we'll get there somehow.
For now, you don't worry about how, because maybe she's right. Once you can see the dream, you'll get there somehow. John Kennedy had no idea, President Kennedy, how to get to the moon when he said we'll get to the moon and return safely within a decade. He had no idea how. I mean, he had some vague recollection, but the scientists at NASA didn't know how to do that. They just didn't know. But they decided to do it before they knew, and then they figured it out. We didn't know how we were going to crisscross the United States with Audubon-like interstate highway when President Eisenhower in the early 50s took on a 50-year plan to crisscross the United States and have it as well connected as Germany was during the Second World War. Didn't know how to do that. I mean, he had some ideas. for sure, the suffragettes in the late 1800s did not know how they were going to change society so dramatically that we'd have the right to vote for women. They didn't know how to do that. Martin Luther King Jr., I don't think, knew the steps to take to bring the kind of equality he was talking about in the High of a Dream speech. He didn't know how. So for now, let go of how and look to see what you want. That's the job today. And my hope is that you'll discover something that you didn't know you wanted. That's throughout today, you'll either put details to something you know you wanted that make it so alive that it's almost available to you, or you'll discover something brand new that you didn't even know you wanted that'll change your life. Because as soon as we discover we want something that we didn't know we wanted that's really important, life changes. And there was a time when I had no interest in ending abject poverty on the planet. I had no interest. I didn't care. First of all, I didn't even know abject poverty existed to the degree that it does. And then if I knew it, I didn't care. But then there was one point at which I really got clear that I wanted to do a lot to end abject poverty. The fact that over 2 billion people live on less than $2 a day in conditions that we would not allow our animals to live in, really, I mean, that's true. 2 billion people on this planet live in conditions that none of you would allow your pet animals to live in. And once I discovered that, I somehow, and I'm not asking you to want this, because you all want different things. But I'm just saying, I'm asking you to figure out something today, wake up to something that you want today, that you didn't know you wanted, that might change your entire life. Because I believe that's what occurs when you really wake up to something you want. And then you come out of the closet. And this happens with people that are gay and lesbian. That they sometime woke up and they said, wow, you know what I want is I want a sexual relationship with, if I'm a woman, if I'm a man. And all of a sudden, life changes for them. Now, I'm not asking for any of you to discover a new sexual orientation. I mean, that's probably unlikely today. But I'm asking you to discover a desire that's as powerful as that, or as powerful as the passion that I have to end abject poverty. And it's in large part why I do this, and why I do it with people like you. Because you are the wealthiest people on the planet. Some of you know that, some of you don't. Some of you feel like you're average. You are so deluded. But that's all right. I don't mean to be offensive, but just that, I mean, if you feel like you're average in terms of finances, you're just like in delusion land. But I don't. Well, let me own it. I believe you're the wealthiest people on the planet. Each of you. You're in the top 1 to 2% of the wealthiest. And then at least a dozen of you are in the top 1/10 of 1% of the wealthiest. I know about your finances. And partly how I know is to look at your shoes. Really good measure of wealth. Really good measure. Look at these. I mean, you got to be wealthy to have shoes like this. And plus super feet insoles. I mean, that adds another $27.95 to those summers. Yeah, I mean, these are probably $120 shoes. And that's more than 1 billion people make, well, in 6 months. I mean, anyway, you're wealthy, in my opinion, and you're leaders, and you're generous already, and I do this work to see if I can get you to be even more generous. And join me in whatever way you can to end abject poverty on the planet, starting with any poverty within your soul. So that's where we're headed.